Okay, we are live. Good afternoon, and welcome to Chit Chat with the Journey Sisters. We are having some technical difficulties this afternoon, but that's not going to stop us from going forward with this conversation because guess what? I just want to scream, Janelle. I just want to scream, Yvonne. And and I am quite sure a lot of us at some point in time just want to scream. Now, when I thought about this topic, I just, I want to scream. But as I thought about it more, I found myself constantly writing and I didn't know where to stop. And usually I don't write notes down, I just go with the flow. But I just found myself so consumed in writing things down that I'm like, okay, are we going to have enough time to cover this? So before we go any further, let me just say thank you so much for your support. Thank you for your encouragement. Thank you for letting me know and letting us know that we are indeed touching lives. We are indeed making an impact for those who think that they don't have a voice, for those who think that they're dealing or they're on this journey alone. So again, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, and please continue to support us. So this afternoon, let's jump right into it. Listen to me. Before I even go any further, we have Yvonne here as our guest this afternoon, Miss Yvonne Walker. She is having some technical difficulties. I don't know if she's getting through as yet. Hopefully and prayerfully she'll be able to join. She's having some issues with her audio, so hopefully she'll be able to jump in at some point in time with the other. But we are excited to have you here this afternoon, Miss Yvonne. And as usual, my co-host Janelle is here with me today. And we are going to go right ahead when Miss Yvonne get a chance to come back in and get her audio working. We're going to have her tell you everything that there is to know about Miss Walker. Janelle, welcome the guest, please.
All right, Alicia. So this topic is OMG. So ever since you told me what this topic was going to be, I felt like I just wanted to scream I've probably done it about 3 times this week. I didn't really realize that I needed to release a sound until you said it. I just wanted to just scream.
Crazy.
Anyway, I got that out of my system a little bit. So, hey guys, I'm Janelle and I am your life fulfillment coach. And one of the things that I'm really passionate about people uncovering their reason for existence, uncovering their true purpose, identifying and having a clear vision of who they are and where they are going. And that's one of the things that I love to help my clients with, just trying to find out who you are. Because how do you know where you're going if you don't first know who you are and why you're here? And so purpose is very important to me. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a banker. I just do so many things. As a matter of fact, I do too many things, but God has given me the grace. He's given me the grace to be able to do all the things that I do. And I'm so grateful to be sharing this platform here with my sister, my journey sister, Miss Alicia Alexander, Miss Forgiveness Coach herself, live and in person. So I'm excited to be here, and I can't wait to hear from Miss Yvonne. She's changing around the computers. Hopefully, this technical difficulties will just go away. But Miss Yvonne, if you can hear me, just scream, baby, just scream. It'll be all right.
And thank you, Janelle. And as usual, I am Alicia Alexander, your forgiveness coach. I am your voice. I am the voice for those who think that they're on this journey alone. I am the voice for those who have been through a traumatic situation and think, you know what, I can't do this. I'm not going to be able to make it. There is hope. And forgiveness is key. You might think that forgiveness is for the other person, but truth and in fact, forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is release. If the way I describe forgiveness, I can't even say it here right now, Janelle, but I just love forgiveness. Forgiveness has freed me, has liberated me, and it can do the same for you. So let's get started. So tell me about this. A lot of people, and I'm going to put a disclaimer for everybody, that we have chaos and dysfunctionality around us. And the reason why I'm saying that everybody has that dysfunctionality It might not be the same for each person, but there is dysfunctionality. And if you think there's none, it's because you don't want to face up to it. And for example, um, I don't have a problem washing dishes, but my expectation is that if you use the dish, wash it, correct? Some people might
Yes.
have issues with their husband or their children leaving the toilet seat up. As trivial as that may seem, it might be an issue. How about, for example, leaving your clothes on the floor when there's a hamper right there? And at times you just want to scream at them. Can you just listen? Can you just do what is asked of you? Can you just do what is the right thing to do? Then you have those who might have, Yvonne is coming back in. You have those who might have, Miss Yvonne, can you hear us now? Unmute yourself.
Yes, I can hear y'all. Can y'all hear me?
Welcome.
Before we go any further, we started big one, but let you go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I just pick up from there. Go right ahead.
Thanks. My name is Yvonne Walker. I am a public health analyst with the CDC. I'm also a published author, and I am the owner and designer of the Artistic Kitten Jewelry.
All right, Yvonne, welcome. I think there's an echo, so when you start not speaking, just mute it. There you go. So we got started, and I started telling Janelle and our audience about dysfunctionality. You know, leaving your clothes on the ground when there's a hamper right there, leaving the toilet seat up, not washing the dishes when you use the dish. You might be financial dysfunctionality, and then you have abuse, whether it be emotional, physical, mental, sexual abuse in itself is a dysfunctionality. And, you might ask, why she keep talking abuse? Yeah, we know she's been through it. So what? It is challenging to talk about. But guess what? Every time I speak about it, I am healing myself. Not only that I'm healing myself, I might be healing or, I'm ministering to someone who think that everything has to stay silent. And so dysfunctionality is everywhere. And we might not think that we're dealing with it. And again, our situation might differ. And I'm going to, refer back to my childhood and again to my sexual abuse. Okay. And I remember with me dealing with it, there were times that I was screaming, but I was screaming with my eyes. I wanted individuals to understand what I was dealing with to help me. It wasn't a physical scream. And my sexual abuse happened often, more often than it should have. It shouldn't happen at all, but it happened often. And I remember one evening, I said, you know what? If it happens again, I'm just going to scream and alert everybody that it's taking place. But there was a voice in me that said, you crazy? You scream, they're not going to believe you. You're a child. And in addition to that, you were told that you're not going to be believed anyhow. So what's the sense? And I found myself having that conversation with myself and not actually screaming when it actually happened. I remember another time too, that I was sleeping and I felt like it was happening, and I just wanted to scream, and I started screaming, and I was screaming at the top of my voice, and nobody was coming. Come to realize it was just a dream. I was screaming in my dream. It wasn't happening, my voice, it was a dream. And I quickly realized that the chaos and the dysfunctionality was not just around me. It was now inside me.
Right.
And I wasn't functioning the way I should function. I was angry with myself, but at the same time, I still wasn't angry because I didn't know any different. I was angry, like, why wasn't I strong enough to say something, to do something. I was paralyzed by fear, by hopelessness, by thinking I wasn't worth anything. And I question now, had I screamed, what would have been different? And I start off by talking about little chaos that happen around the home or whatever the case is. But chaos is chaos. And screaming is screaming because sometimes that's all we need to do to get it out. There's no shame in screaming. None. Absolutely none. We think that there is. I mean, people might look at us and think, you're crazy. What's wrong with you? But there is absolutely no shame in saying, I want to scream and actually doing it. And if it becomes challenging, then you figure, hey, get a plastic bag, get a Ziploc bag. It's not going to muffle the sound. Flush the toilet while you're screaming. Grab a pillow. But it's okay and it's normal to feel like you want to scream, is it? What do you think, Janelle?
I just love this platform, Miss Alicia, this platform where we can be transparent as women. A lot of times it would appear that we always have things together. We always got it together from our head to our toe. The shoe always matched the bag. We go out and we have this persona that, we're okay. And a lot of times deep down inside, because we have had issues that happened to us in the past that we never really dealt with, we kept sweeping it under the rug and pretending that it didn't happen. And it causes animosity to build up on the inside of us. And unfortunately, that's released when we're with our loved ones. When we are on our jobs, it's manifested in so many different ways. And so that's one of the reasons why I think this topic is so good, because if the truth be told, Miss Alicia, if the truth be told, there are many of us, even those that will be watching this video for years to come, that will be able to say, you know what, I can identify with this, wanting to scream. I've wanted to scream. I still want to scream. I still scream. I feel like screaming is a way that it's like you're tapping into something that's on the inside of you and it comes out of your voice. And a scream can also be a cry for help. So if you feel like you want to scream, that could be a sign that there's something that's bothering you that you need to deal with. And like Miss Alicia said earlier, it is okay if you want to scream. It is okay. It's okay. That just means that you've acknowledged that, okay, there's something going on and I may not be able to put my finger on it, but I'm willing to confront it, address it so that I can forgive myself, so that I can forgive the ones or the one that hurt me, and I can move on. I may not have been sexually abused, Alicia, but I've been mentally abused, emotionally abused. And I want you to know that it may as well have been physical. You know what I'm saying? When that emotional abuse, when somebody just constantly, feeds you negative thoughts, and it's just an atmosphere of pure negativity. It's hard. It's hard seeing hope. It's hard having joy. It's hard seeing the future. You just feel condemned every time. It's just hard. And it makes it so difficult. And what I would do, I put on my makeup, I put on my hair, and I would go to church, and I would just hang out with my friends and family, and nobody really knew what was going on the inside of me, the turmoil that was building inside of me. And I remember this story. I want to say this was back in 2000, and I want to say 2008. 2008. Yeah, 2008. I think I went through a stage of depression. My marriage was ending. I felt like, where am I in my life? What am I doing with my life? I was working at a bank. I had resigned after 12 years, trying to find my way, trying to run my business, trying to find happiness. And I'm telling you, I know there are a lot of people that are on here that are trying to find happiness. I have the secret. I have the keys to happiness, and you won't find it looking at somebody else or looking to someone else. That's something that you want to have to look to on the inside of you. But I remember driving, and many of you know, on the islands, we always can see the ocean. We always can see the sea. So as I was driving and I was looking over at the waters, and I said to myself, what if I just drove my car over there. Like, what if I just do it? You know, and I don't think I was at a place where I was really dark and low, even though I was sad and depressed and just feeling hopeless. But I thought about my kids. I thought about, what are they going to tell my kids, and how are my kids going to cope with this? And I was like, you know what? No, let me just get out of this relationship. Let me just find myself, give myself some time, and scream. Oh my God, scream. So this is a really good topic, Alicia. And I think that there are many women and maybe some men, but there are women on here that will feel the same way we feel. Yes, men, it's okay to scream. I mean, it's not like really okay, but hey, we know you guys got to scream too. But just don't let us see it, okay? Don't let us see you screaming. You scream in the bathroom. You scream, put your head in the pillow and scream. But you need to be strong for us, and that's what.
I want to see them scream. You know why? Because they're born with emotions too. If they weren't allowed to scream or they shouldn't scream, they wouldn't have had that kind of that screaming ability. So scream if you
But
need to.
You know how they're built, though. They're built. I don't cry. I'm a man. I'm tough. I don't do all of that stuff.
That's the problem
But
right there.
They're always told to be strong. Like, stop being a little. Come on, boy, cut it out. You're a man.
That's the
But
problem
we
right there.
scream. And if people really know the things that we've been through, Yvonne, if people really know what our true story is, they would look at us and they'd be like, my God, she don't look nothing like what she's been through. Well, I thank God that that's my testimony today. I don't look nothing like what I've been through, honey. And I've learned that when I get to that place, Miss Alicia, Miss Yvonne, where I want to scream, it's time for me to take a moment back, because I'm about to snap somebody's head off. I just need to step back a little bit and figure out why that anger. Why am I feeling angry? So I can't wait to hear from you, Yvonne. Have you ever felt like you just wanted to scream?
Oh, so many times. Gosh, I can go on and it'd be more than an hour's worth of stories. But, listening to you two ladies and talking about this topic, I had to do a lot of healing work on myself after my divorce. And it actually started with a scream. I was probably a month or two out from my divorce. I was laying in bed, and I was just tossing and turning, just chaos all in my head, all over the place. And then the bathroom mirror falls down and shatters, and I woke up just screaming. And I screamed and I screamed, and I felt like I was going to scream forever. But then I felt a release. I felt something click and turn over in that moment. And I reached out and I asked for help. And with that help, and I was able to start my journey of self-realization and realizing where that came from, because I was angry at myself. I was angry because I'm like, I have my master's degree. I'm a smart woman. I know I'm a scientist. I know, I should know better. I allowed my heart to take over. I ignored the red flags. I felt very stupid. And, everybody's like, oh no, it's not your fault. And I was like, no. I have to own up to my part of that. And that was what that scream did for me, is realize that I had to release this, because it was going to eat me up inside if I didn't. And if I wanted to be in a successful, happy relationship, I had to be successful and happy within myself. And so I did. My current boyfriend, I actually reached out to him for help. He came over in the middle of the night. We were just friends at the time, and he helped me. Perfect metaphor, helped me pick up the pieces of the glass that had fallen. But I had to do most of the work, and I realized that afterwards that I had to go and do the heavy lifting. And so sometimes when I wanted to scream, I would go somewhere or go to a place where I felt like I could actually get that out. And it helped me clear my voice so that I could actually start speaking up for myself. speaking life into myself, because holding it in was choking me. So I had to let that scream get out so that it could clear up everything so that I could start the process of healing. Um, it was a tough time, and you know, and like you, Janelle, my family, they didn't have a clue. I went home for Thanksgiving after that, after my divorce, and me and my mother and my grandmother were driving all over Texas because I'm from Texas. So we drove to San Antonio up to Dallas, and then my family has a ranch out in College Station, so we went out there for Thanksgiving, and that whole time we talked, and you know, my mother revealed things about me, about her life, the abuse that she suffered growing up, and I never knew. But it was the point of allowing us to connect, because I don't think, had I had that break, had I had that switching point, that turning point, I don't think I would have had that opportunity to connect to my mother and my grandmother on that level. And it wasn't just healing for me. I think it kind of affirmed for them, especially all of us as Black women, especially Black women in America. We need that, you know, we need that release. We need to know that once you get that release, no matter how silly you think you look or whatever, you just, you, the pressure's off. And when the pressure's off, you can actually start to deal with what's really going on with you, what's really hurting you inside. And so since I've been going through my journey, and I've shared this with my boyfriend and now my brother who's staying with us, I would tell them, I was just like, you gotta feel that feeling. If you're angry, it's okay. Just feel it. Feel the emotion. Let it out. If it comes out in a sob, if it comes out in a scream, just feel the emotion. Let it go. Release it. Because once you get that release going, then you can start getting down to the deeper, okay, why?
Exhale, breathe.
And Yvonne touched on so many points that need expanded. It's you touched on so many relevant points. We tend to internalize everything because we think that we wake up tomorrow is going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad all the time, but what we don't realize is that that tenderness and that little nurturing, it's used to cover whatever is done incorrectly. And over the years, that little tenderness and that little loving fades. And we tend not to want to say anything because we think that we're not worthy. We're paralyzed by fear. And we're fine dealing with just the crumbs. You know, I could deal with the crumbs. Why deal with the crumbs when you can have the whole bread?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I satisfied with the crumbs? Why is it that you know, we think that we can't say anything, we have to internalize everything, we have to deal with everything ourselves. And it's because we think that we're not worthy. And in addition, we feel like even if we talk to the person about whatever we're dealing with, yes, they might empathize with us now, but they will never admit that they were wrong, that that we're right in what we're saying. It's
Mm-hmm.
always a blame game. And we think that it's a lot of women survive on just eating the crumbs. They
Yeah,
just
and
survive on that. I could not, I want the whole bread. And even if whatever took place with me paralyzed me, it paralyzed me for a long time. But I always felt like there was a voice inside. There's something I had to say. I had to get it out. I don't know how, I don't know when, but it has to come out. And I'm reading books and I'm looking at movies and I'm looking at other people's stories. And I'm saying, why is it that they have the courage to do it and I don't? Why it seem like, you look at a movie and something happened in a movie and it plays out itself and she screams and she's free and then she Just like Yvonne meet somebody else and live a wonderful life. Why I can't do that? Or you look at a child that's been abused and she has the courage to let that voice out and somebody heard and people believe her. Why is it that I couldn't do that? Why is it that I'm so hard on myself, thinking that that's not possible?
I think it's a learned. It's something that we're taught is to not say things to make other people uncomfortable. And people will come out and say, well, other people have problems too. What makes you special? And humble yourself, because just be grateful for what you're given. And I think a lot of times what people fail to understand is you can have your cake and eat it too. Because no matter what you believe, you can believe in the Most High God, you can believe in, other, Buddha, Allah, whatever. But at the end of the day, those gods, your God is what is going to give you those blessings. He has everything for you. You just have to find within yourself to say that you are worthy of that. You're worthy of those gifts. And and again, I kind of go back to us as women. We're always taught to be seen and not heard, and just it's
Right.
fine. Just pray about it and you'll be fine. But it's like, no, that's not it. That's not everything. Yeah, we're going to pray because prayer works. It's like, but prayer without deeds isn't going to lead to anything. So we have to do that inner work on ourselves. We have to ask God to help work on us, help us find our voices, help us stand up for ourselves, because everybody else can do it.
Yes. Yes.
So,
I like everything that you touched on. I liked what you said, Yvonne, when you were speaking about what success looks like. And I think a lot of us, especially women of color, one of the things that we strive towards, one of the things that's embedded in us is the fact that our parents want us to be successful. So it doesn't matter what you go through. We want you to go to college. We want you to graduate. We need you to get a good job. And I think it does something for their self-esteem and their image. Like, my daughter is a doctor. My daughter works for this. Oh, my daughter has this big position in the government. Or my daughter, and so we have a standard that we've been taught to live up to. And so a lot of times we don't want to disappoint our family. We don't want to disappoint the people that are closest to us by just letting them down, letting them see that we're not as strong as we look. I mean, yes, you could have blamed yourself. And that happens to a lot of us. We blame ourselves. Like, I could have seen that coming with a 10-foot pole. Like, am I stupid? Like, what is wrong with me? Like, how did I get myself in this situation? And guess what? And then what happens again? We go ahead and we make the same mistake. And it's not until later. And it's like it becomes a repetition. And that's when you have to really look inside yourself and take time away from everything. It's okay if you need to take a sabbatical, women. I mean, it's okay if you got to go somewhere without your husband or without your wife. Sometimes you need to find you, because I'm no good to you if I'm a mess. I am no good to you, no matter who you are to me or what I am to you. I am no good to you if I'm losing it. So we've got to be okay with taking a break. We've got to be okay with, I'm going to go to the movies and I'm going to go by myself. I just want to be by myself, and people around us need to understand that, because sometimes there's so many things going on through our mind. So yeah, you look successful. You have a master's degree. What, you could get anyone you want. What is your problem? Well, the problem is, our hearts. This heart of ours. When we fall in love, I mean, we fall in love. We just go all the way. And the amazing thing that all of us have in common right now, all of us have experienced divorce, and it's not a good feeling is not a good thing. I mean, nobody gets married and say, you know what, in 3 to 5 years time, I want to be done with this. We start planning our future together. We get a house. I mean, everybody know how hard it is to get a mortgage, but you get a mortgage with somebody, you know, so you guys own it together. You start owning cars and, you know, having children. It's a whole, you're building your life together. To have that crumble and now to go back to your family members and say, you know what, this didn't work out, and we're afraid of what people are going to think of us, like how what they going to say, like, goodness, I mean, she talking to everybody and she can't keep her relationships intact. Well, you know what, the thing about it is, why I like this platform is that we're humans.
Yes.
We make mistakes, but we are bold enough to come out here and be transparent and to talk to you and let you know that, yeah, sometimes we want to scream. But what we're saying to you is, if you get to that place where you feel like you want to scream, it's time for you to step away from the wall, step away from the picture, and do some self-evaluation. Look inside yourself. Yeah, I look successful. I look like I got it going on, but truly, how do I feel on the inside? What's going on the inside of me internally? Why am I angry? That anger could have stemmed from something that happened to you 20 years ago, something that happened to you in your childhood, something that happened to you in a past relationship that you keep bringing up and you keep reliving over and over again. For some of us, you know, you were so in love with Bobby and now Bobby is with Cindy. And it's like every time you see Bobby and Cindy post a picture and they look happy, it just does something. I know, Alicia, there's a couple of years ago, I had to come off Facebook. I had to completely come off Facebook. I was like, you know, because every time you would look at certain people, you always thought that you were smarter. You always thought that you had it more going on than them. And you look at them and their husbands buying them a new car. They just showing you the keys to their brand new 3-story house. You know, oh, they just had the most beautiful, gorgeous daughter. Oh, and he just bought her the most expensive, heavy 14-karat gold ring. And you sitting down, you said, well, what's wrong with me? Why is my life the way it is? So I just said, you know what? Some people that I went to college with, I was way better in radio and television than they were. And they had their own shows. And I'm like, I'm just going to take a break from Facebook and social media on the whole, because, you know, social media gives people the impression that you're doing great because we can hide behind that. We don't have to be honest. You know, I can have a friend list of 5,000 people, but I don't know one. But it's okay because this is a virtual friendship. But what we're trying to say to you, you're not going to survive off a virtual friendship. You need to have intimate relationships with human beings, with people, not buildings, not your phone, not mobile devices, but you need to have relationship and people in your life that you can talk to, that you can, you know, let your hair down and you won't have to be judged. And I must say, you know, I found that friend in Miss Alicia, you know, and I know she'd be looking at me, you know what, and I really don't care what she thinks because I'm going to just let it all out. Just let it all out. And she was like, okay, I get it. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I just got to let it out. But you got to have that person that understands. You got to have that person in your circle that you can connect with and you can just say, hey, look, yeah, I want to scream. And they know that they can either just put their arms around you. They can just say a prayer for you. They can just stand and believe God with you. It's just, you know, it's just something. But you know what? We all go through this sometimes. And so this broadcast today is simply about just wanting to scream and let it out and have that release, like Yvonne said. And so don't feel like you have to keep it all in and bottle up because, listen, it ain't going nowhere. It's going to find some way, somehow to resurface, and you may not like it when it comes up. So my advice to you today is deal with it now. Deal with it now, man. Deal with it now.
Yeah, I want to...
Go ahead.
Oh. No, I was going to say I wanted to kind of piggyback off of one of the things you had said because it reminded me of my turning point when I just screamed and I released. And one of the things that I want to say for any, you know, especially people of color, normalize the statement of, I may not understand what you're doing. I may not understand what you're going through, but I love you and I'll be here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Both of my parents told me that. Some of the best friends that I still have post my marriage, that's what they told me. And I told them, I was like, that is That is the only thing that I think I need from you, is to know, especially my parents. Because, you know, Janelle, you had said that parents put pressure on us to be the best and to do, because they want us to succeed. They want us to do better than they did. I know my mom, she's one of those, she's always pushing us to be better. But it was a relief to be vulnerable around her. And it was a relief to show her that I went through something. I went through a lot of stuff that you guys didn't know, and I feel like a failure. I was like, but the fact that even with me feeling the way I'm feeling, even with me having experienced what I experienced, you're telling me that you still love me, this broken part of me, that made all the difference in the world to me. And I I challenge people of color to do that for each other. You know, Janelle, you said you have Alicia, and she was that person for you to say, I may not understand, or I may understand a little bit. I emphasize with you, or where you've been and where you're going, because you need those. You need those people in your life. And you know, I know I've had that, and I try to be that for other people as they come in and out of my life. You know, I used to joke. I owned like a 4-bedroom home at one point, and after my divorce, it was just me. And then slowly but surely, I used to call it Casa de los Souls, because it always seemed like people with problems or who were on their own journey would come in, and then they would be there, and we would have this similar talk. And it necessarily wasn't about just screaming, but I told them, I was like, this is a big house, you know, no one's really going to hear you. So, you know, I was like, so scream, get it out, release it. You know, this is a safe place. And I created a safe place for people to do that. And because I know I needed it, um, for that same reason, is to heal.
You
But
know,
yeah, no, that's why I was just like, I wanted to say that. But I want to normalize that. That would be just being a safe place for other people who are going through stuff. If you can't do anything at all, sometimes the best thing you can do is listen
and
or
that's
scream
awesome.
with
That's
them.
And you're so right, Yvonne. You are on target. And we do need each other. We need each other. Sometimes we think that we don't, we got everything done packed. We need each other. But even deeper than that, we need ourselves. A lot of times we deal with situation and we put up with it because we think that we're worthless. We think that we don't deserve that love, or we don't deserve to be happy, and we don't deserve that honesty. And you know, I might as well deal with what I have, because I was told nobody would ever love me anyhow. And if I let this one go, would I be able to find somebody else? Am I not worthy of it? So we deal with that situation, and it's unhealthy. But we think that, like Jenna said, if you keep that smile on and we keep going, we're going to be okay. When truth, in fact, it's not. And the best way to deal with that, like Yvonne mentioned, we have to prioritize. First of all, acknowledge that there's a problem. Acknowledge that we're dealing with something, and what we're dealing with is not healthy. And in addition to that, after you acknowledge that, prioritize your feelings. You know, I'm not just, you know, I'm not just feeling down today because the dishes weren't washed. It's deeper than that. I'm not feeling down today because I have financial issues. It is deeper than that. And unless we get to the point where we recognize and we are honest with ourselves, because a lot of time we just sweep it on the cup. If we're not honest with ourselves, we keep reliving the same cycle. And the dangerous part about that is that we relive this cycle and we pass it on. We don't just pass it on to a girlfriend or whatever the case is, we pass it on to our own children. And we put on this persona, and it's do as I say and not as I do, and not really dealing with what the issue is. One of the good things about having children is that they will tell you the truth. They don't know how to sugarcoat anything. And when they tell you the truth, You don't have a choice. You do have a choice. You can ignore it. But if you're conscious enough, you will say, you know what? Let me step back. Let me look at the bigger picture and realize, you know what? There's a reason why you're here. You're bringing something out of me that I did not see. And do I want to continue putting myself and not just me putting you through this? So it starts with honesty with ourselves. Because if, like Jenna said, if I'm no good, how can I help you? If I'm not honest with myself, how can I be of any assistance to you? That means I just be lying to you too, right? And the cycle continues. We're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
It looks pretty. It looks like we're getting somewhere. We're going out, we're hanging out, we're spending money, we're partying. But when I get back home to my bed or to my house, the situation is still there. And it might have been compounded because I'm not dealing with it. So it's only getting worse until it becomes a clash. Then I wonder, why is it I never dealt with it? No, what do I
Yeah,
do now? Go ahead, Yvonne.
yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, you're preaching here, girl. Because you talk about cycles of behavior coming back and coming back if you don't address something when it happens. I recently left a division I worked with, and my regular job at the CDC had been there for like 10, 11 years. And those last 3 years, I was going through hell. I mean, I kept getting triggered and triggered by my supervisor, just over and over again, just triggered. I would log off of work crying, bawling my eyes out, having to take mental health days because I couldn't deal. And I was going through all this. I would call and complain to people, and I'd just be like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't understand. And I started going to counseling. And then the counselor, man, when I tell you, we started working on that, and it dawned on me. I was like, I need to speak up. I need to not necessarily scream at the person, but I needed to scream. I needed to release, and I needed to speak up for myself. I needed to understand, like, you both were saying, that I was worthy, that I was not the person who they had in their mind of me being and who they were trying to force me to be. And so I did. I finally stood up for myself. I filed a complaint against my supervisor, and it got investigated. And then when I tell you, I realized I broke that cycle.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know I had been trying for years to get out of that job? And within a week or two of sticking up for myself and speaking out against what was going on, I was getting job, offers. I was getting interview after interview after interview, top two, top person, please come work. I had to turn down like several jobs, one after another, until I finally found a place where I'm living my best life. I feel like
That's amazing.
because I finally used my voice. And
Yes.
sometimes the scream
I keep
doesn't.
saying the voice. Go ahead.
Right. Yeah. That's like, that screaming doesn't have to be like I have to scream. It really can just be, like I said, a clearing of your voice, a clearing of your throat, and saying, I matter.
Mm-hmm.
I am worthy of this. In my head, this is who I am, and I'm a creator. And if I need to create this reality for me. And in order to do that, I can't listen to what other people tell me who I should
Right.
be. And when you use that voice, that's almost the form of a scream. Especially when you're talking about women of color, when we're told like you'll get ahead if you just follow along. Don't raise your voice, because you're kind of being a little hostile, or, and I found that even in my current job, you still get kind of, you get tested a little bit, even after you've made that epiphany and you're like, I've broken through and I've come to it, you still get tested. And even my new position, I got tested a couple of times early on, and I said, no, you're not going to put me in a box because it makes you feel comfortable. So I'm going to use my voice. So I don't have to sit there and swallow until I choke on it, until I'm forced to have to scream again in a big way and make a big production of it, So I do mini screams, and it's.
I agree with Yvonne that the screams don't have to be a voice screaming. It could be actions like what you took. And one of the things that I think work well is that if you write it down and acknowledge that these are the issues that I'm facing. You might be afraid to write it because you don't want anybody to find it. But if you write it down and say, these are the issues that I'm dealing with, and I'm working on a solution, whenever that chaos or that dysfunction appears again, you can say, well, I have it written down and I'm working on a solution. I'm trying to find an answer. And it brings that release, because I've had to do that. It brings that release because I know I've acknowledged it. I have it on paper. I can see it. Instead of just thinking it, I can see it. And now that I see it, how can I work through it? And the fact that I'm working on an answer, I have a list of 10 things. I can't take care of everything today. But guess what? I'm seeing it. This is what I can work on. This is what I can do to complete this one. And when you have mastered that one, it comes off your list and your list get a little shorter. So sometimes for some of us, it's visual. Instead of just dealing, the screaming is visual. And what do you call it? The screaming is visual. And we work our way through it that way in order to get where we have to get. And imagine the feeling that you feel when you get down to the last item on your list. The last item is covered. I am free. I am healed. Not that there won't be problems still, that there won't be chaos or dysfunction still. But because I've figured out a way to master it, to work with it slowly, to set tiny goals, to take baby steps, and to cover it, well, guess what? When the next chaos comes, I got that one covered. We have to stop lying to ourselves. We have told ourselves so many lies. We have covered so much for people. We have covered for ourselves too, but we have covered so much for people that it becomes the norm. And we haven't taken the time to take a drive to that beach. Because sometimes we don't want to do things on our own. One, because we think we're not capable of doing it, or two, because we feel like because people have done so much around us and have said these things to us that this is what controls us. A few weeks ago, I got up at 2:30 in the morning and told my son to get dressed. Let's go. And my son don't ask me any questions because he just figured we going on a road trip. I looked at the map and I found this beach in Florida. I think it's called Ocala. It took me 4.5 hours to get to Ocala. It was deserted. And at that time, he got up because I woke him up early. He was up with me for a while and he slept the rest of the way. And he woke up and he said, where are we? I said, we're in Ocala. He's like, where? I've never heard of it either myself. But the point is, I got up and I took that drive alone to somewhere that's unknown. I don't have to have nobody, push me to do something. I don't have to go to please anybody. I don't have to live a lifestyle to please anybody. It's about me. It's what brings me happiness. And I got to the beach. It was a deserted area. And on the way to it, the closest gas station was like an hour and a half. And I kept saying to myself, Lord, I hope I don't run out of gas. I hope I find myself where I kept praying all the way. But I said, I can't turn back now. Because if I turn back now, it means that I am not capable of fulfilling what I set out to do. I got to the beach. There was just 2 individuals on the beach. And I'm like, okay. I got out. I spread my hands out and I started making noise. And the boy was looking at me like I was crazy. He got out of the car with me, and when I started screaming, he got right back in the car and left me out there by myself. And I could see him looking like, "You okay?" But he knew that I needed that escape. And when he thought, and the people on the beach were looking at me too, but that's another story. And when he thought I had enough, he did not interrupt me. When he thought I had enough, he said, "Can we go somewhere else? Because I don't like it out here." But my whole point was, we set out on journeys and we don't want to do certain things or venture into, unknown waters, because we are so accustomed and we have been so conformed or so molded by what people have planted in us that we think that, all I'm here to do is to get up and go to work every day. All I'm here to do is to eat the crumbs that you've handed me. When I don't realize that I can take that crumbs and sprinkle on some macaroni and cheese and get a nice crusty macaroni and cheese. The crumbs is not just there because I don't have to survive in that. I can step outside of the box, like Yvonne said, and just be me. And that's a way of letting you scream out as well. Just take that journey that you would not normally take by yourself and just do it. Just do it. Let it out. I left that beach so fulfilled. By the way, I took another 4.5 hour ride and ended up in Orlando instead of coming back home, because that meant I was going to have a good weekend that weekend. So in all, it took me 8 hours almost 8, 9 hours to get to Orlando, when I could have taken that straight one. But I felt like I had to divert in order to just do something or go somewhere I've never been before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think a lot of times it's fear. It's really fear, false evidence appearing real. We are afraid. We are afraid to step out into the unknown because I don't know what's going to happen. What do they say about me? What will they think about me? What if I fail? What if? What if? What if? And so we're so filled with what ifs that we don't take the leap. But I've read a book by a book that I couldn't wait to get, and he talks about you will never land if you never leap. How can an airplane have a landing if it never goes up? You have to take a leap if you're going to land somewhere. And we want to let you know today, that's why you have this awesome platform, Miss Alicia. Everything that Miss Yvonne said and you said, it was just bubbling up inside. And I know we only have an hour. And I was like, oh, I got something. But, and of course, I'm a little older and, bottled down with so many different emotions right now. So it just went straight out of my head. But we've got to learn. We talked about self-love before. We talked about loving ourselves. And, many times on the show, you got to just get to that place where you just say, you know what? You matter. Like Yvonne said, I matter. It's okay if I don't matter to you. It's okay if I'm not your priority. I'm my priority. I am my priority. And that goes for even our children, because a lot of times we can stretch ourselves thin when it comes to our children. I told my daughter, I said, baby girl, when you're ready to go to college, you'll be at that right age where you can sign for your student loans yourself, because mommy not doing it. Not because I don't want to, but not because you're not going to waste my time and my money. Now you're going to do it because you really want to do it and you're going to get it done. And I have not done so. And one of them getting ready to graduate in a couple of weeks with her degree. So I've taught them responsibility, because I'm like, look, I want you to succeed in life. I want you, but I'm not going to put that pressure on you. Not the type of pressure that was on me. I want you to find your purpose, because guess what? Your purpose may not be going to college. There's so many people that were successful and found their way without going to college. I'm big on education, but I ain't big on paying all of the student loans for the rest of my life. Okay. But I'm big on self-development, personal development, where you develop yourself. It would be better for you to spend 10 hours working towards what you really call for than 10 hours of learning, how the rays and how far the sun is from the earth. Because I promise you I will fall asleep and I will be disinterested. So my thoughts today on this amazing platform, Alicia. Thank you for just opening up the door, giving us an opportunity to be transparent. I can listen and watch this over and over and over again and just hear you ladies just talk because it's so relevant. It's so relevant and like Miss Yvonne and you also said, Alicia, women of color, we got this image that we got to protect. We got this image that we got to look like, and especially on our jobs. But I love when you said, Yvonne, that you had to put a stop to it immediately. But that's because you went to that place where you was able to dissect the problem in your counseling and you was able to say, okay, now when I see that problem coming again, I have to approach it this way because I don't want that to happen again to me. You know what I'm saying? And so if you need help, ladies, if you're going through something and you need help, it's good to pray about it. But faith without works is dead. You need to pray about it and you need to take some actions. Take some actions of what you need to do to find your freedom, to find your voice. Because if you wait for somebody else to justify you, honey, if you wait for somebody else to validate you, if you got to wait for somebody else to tell you how good you are or how worthy you are, it may never happen. But you got to know within yourself that you're worth it. You got to know within yourself that, hey, I'm a queen. I don't care. I don't even need a king. I'm good. I'm a queen. I'm a queen in my own right, and I know who I am, and I know where I'm going. And so God has given me strategic ideas on how to get there. And that's what we want to spread this message across to everyone. That's what we're about. Chit chat with the Journey Sisters, all on the journey. And we may never get to where we're going, but you know what? We're never going to quit. We're never going to stop where we are. We're going to keep moving forward. Keep on this journey because it's going to one day take us to that place where we need to be.
Amen.
And so thank you.
You're welcome, Janelle. You are so welcome. Yvonne, go right ahead and give your closing thoughts. This hour went by so quick, but go right ahead, sweetheart.
I know. It's like, obviously, the devil didn't want me to come on here and talk because I had so much technical difficulties. But, and I will admit, Alicia, you're the only reason why I came on here to do this, but I'm glad I did. I really enjoyed this. And it is about knowing that you're worthy, having that, just going ahead and releasing and unapologetically releasing whatever emotion, whatever feelings you're going through, asking for help, working through the dysfunction. No matter what, you're the sum of all your parts. But if a part is broken, you have to go and fix it. Because if you can't fix that, you're not going to be good for yourself. And you're not going to be good for anybody else that may come in your life along the way. And so I know I've been on a spiritual journey. My divorce was that catalyst, and I'm grateful for that. And I've come a long way, and I still have a long way to go. But I have been able to publish. I'm going to shamelessly plug real quick. I was able to publish my first novel, Garden's Guardian. It's on Amazon. And because of that, I also started my own jewelry business. And I didn't start it as a oh, I'm going to make money. I started it because I'm like, I'm a plus size woman. I am not going to sit up here and struggle with jewelry that doesn't fit me. So I decided to start making stuff that fits me. And I was just like, but I'm that boho chic kind of gal. So I like the natural stuff. So I work with natural stones. I work with healing stones. I don't just make something just to make it. I make it because it's going to be beneficial. It's going to be healing to whoever I make the jewelry for and for myself. And so I truly, truly enjoyed this. I really feel like I know the hour did fly by. And, if y'all ever want me to come back on here and talk, I have no problem coming and chit-chatting with you ladies.
Boy, thank you so much, Yvonne, and thank you for, I know I didn't give you a choice. I just told you you were coming. And I didn't give her a choice because I said you will be
That's
on
how
the
she
show.
go. That's how she go, Yvonne. That's what I gotta put up with, okay?
Oh, I know. I
And
just
thank
like,
you.
okay,
She was like, okay, okay.
okay.
And I remember, you're coming on, right? Okay. I thank you ladies so much for being here. This has been a journey for me and that I'm growing with, that I'm enjoying. Um, I know a lot of times we want to beat up on ourselves. We think it's our fault. We settle for the crumbs. And the most liberating thing to do, one of the most liberating thing to do is to empower ourselves. Take those tiny steps. Make a plan, have a plan, and make every day a choice. And in addition to that, to overcome all that, I'm going there, Janelle, forgiveness. You have to forgive yourself because forgiveness is not for the next person, it's for you. And I can't pass a certain point and have certain expectations of you as a friend, or as you as my mother, or of you as my father, when I don't have these expectations of myself and I don't know how to forgive me. Forgiveness is key to, I eat, breathe, and sleep forgiveness. I don't understand. Sometimes I question myself, although I so much believe in forgiveness and I think that it is everything. There are times, I'll be honest with you, that I question myself, am I vulnerable? Has nothing to do with vulnerability. It has to do with what was implanted in me. All of us are blessed with different gifts. Some of us know we have this gift and don't know how to use it. But it's not for you to be silent about it. It's for you just to have that conversation with somebody who could probably bring it out. Because I had to have a conversation. I knew it was in me, but I had to have that conversation. But we can go past whatever it is that's holding us back, that's boggling us down, if we learn to, one, practice that self-love, prioritize our health, prioritize ourselves, don't wait for nobody to validate us, and learn to forgive. I am so thankful for this platform. It was imparted on me, and I'm not going to stop now. My topics just come from out, it's the Holy Spirit that's just planting these topics on me, and I'm excited because I want to be real. I want to be transparent. I don't want this to be a platform where we're making things up and it has to be a script and it has to be something that was studied. You have to speak from your heart. And I just want you guys to know that, hey, we're here for you. We're here for your support. We're here to have that conversation with. We've been through things too. We're not talking from a book. We're talking from experience. And we're here for you. Bottom line, don't be afraid to reach out. If you want to see this ministry keep going, support us, share this video. And feel free to contact me at sheforgave@gmail.com. I am on Facebook as my name, Alicia Alexander, Forgiveness Coach. I'm on Facebook as She Forgave. I have a She Forgave page, Blueprint. I'm also on Instagram as She Forgave One. Feel free, if you want this ministry to continue, to cash at me. I'm going to post that in a minute. And if you wish to be on the program as well, you can come and tell your story. It's a judgment-free zone. We're not here to judge anybody because none of us are perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jana. Before we go, let me give our guests first. Yvonne, before we go, where can they find you if they want to reach out to you?
Thanks. I am on Instagram. The Artistic Kitten Jewelry. You can find me on Instagram and Facebook under both of those. I don't tend to give out my personal Facebook. However, you can follow me on Instagram, Nene Rules One. But I will have more social media outlets, especially for my business and my books. I am on Tumblr because I do blog. On Tumblr, I am the Artistic Kitten again, and for my writing blog, it's Mad Woman Rambles.
Well, I like that. Thank you so much, Jana. Where can they find you?
All right. You can find me as Miss_She Inspired on Instagram. Miss_She Inspired. And you can also find me on She Inspired Women on Facebook as well. And I don't mind if you contact me under my name, Janelle Drayton. I have them all linked together. If you want an opportunity, like Alicia say, to be a part of this platform, you have something that you want to say and share on this show, I'm pretty sure she'd be more than happy, because we're all on a journey. We're all on a journey looking for the same thing, wanting to be happy and free and, peaceful. So I invited my friend Joba on today, and she is on and she watched from the beginning to the end. She's commenting. So thank you so much for your support. Being a part of this platform and this show means a lot, and it's really going to bless a lot of people. So don't worry, Miss Yvonne, I already followed you on Instagram, honey. I got you on lock, because I think I'm going to need one of those jewelry. Okay. And your book. So where can we find your book? Is it on your website? Do you have a website?
No, I do not, unfortunately. Not yet. It's coming soon, though. But
Okay.
you can find my book on Amazon, The Garden's Guardian.
Okay. What is it called?
So it's available. Garden's Guardian.
Okay. Got it.
So, ladies, thank you, Miss Yvonne. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. No, from the top, the bottom, middle, the whole heart. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Janelle. And before we go, ladies, guess what? Yeah, you have a pillow? You have a pillow? Do you have a plastic bag? Do you have anything close by? Because we don't want to break social media. Go right ahead. On three. It's for a quick second. 1, 2, 3. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.